All right. Hello, everyone. So today's topic is pretty exciting. We're going to be talking about the DEETs on the TerraShield bug repellent that doTERRA has recently reformulated and come out with. And this is exciting because now we are actually officially able to call it a bug repellent, whereas beforehand we weren't able to because of just some standards. Within the EWG, but now we are allowed to call it a bug repellent. So, what I want to teach you guys today is all about the DEET, right? DEET that is in bug spray that we hear about all the time as possibly being harmful for us and why that actually is the case. And then also give you guys some natural solutions to using bug spray. Because obviously, especially if you're somewhere like I am up here in upstate New York, especially if you're having a summer like we are where it is so humid and buggy, right? We need something to make sure that we can at least repel those bugs. And of course, the root of that is because we don't want, not only do we not want mosquito bites, which are just uncomfortable, but also ticks and health concerns that tick bites can lead to, and all of those things. So, bug repellent in general. So, before I really get into this, you guys, I want to be really clear. I don't want to scare anyone with what I'm about to say because the reality is some of you watching this may have used bug spray this past weekend. A couple weekends ago, it was July 4th. Maybe you were out at a barbecue and you used bug spray on your kids or bug spray on your own body. And this is not at all in a way to shame you or tell you you're a horrible parent or a horrible person for using bug spray. Okay, I want to make that abundantly clear. And so much of this community right here is making sure that we know that, right? We're just learning better and doing better as people. We're not here to shame people, right? So I want to give you that simple swap in there. So what I did for you, I did a little bit of research just now, and I learned a ton of stuff myself. I researched DEET, and I researched a lot of the stuff that's going on within our bug repellents that we have on the market right now that you can find at so many stores. And I just kind of dug into a little bit of research there. So I'm going to be showing you what I found. And for those of you who are in the Facebook group right now, I will absolutely link up this document that I created with links to different articles and just research that I came across in case that's helpful for you if you want to send it out to anyone as well. All right, so one thing that I found that was interesting, and I learned most of this today myself, so I'm going to be reading this along with you guys, is that bug repellents are actually made of two main types of ingredients. So there's active ingredients, right? And those active ingredients are the active repelling chemicals that must appear on the label. This is really important to understand that not everything has to be written on the label, right? And the label meaning like the ingredients of what you're actually seeing in those bug sprays. This can be extremely scary because you don't actually know what you're putting on your body, right? And then there's also what's called inert ingredients, which are basically everything else in the products. They can range from solvents and preservatives to anti-caking or foaming agents and even fragrance. And we know here, I know that you guys, most of you guys are educated on the fact that fragrance is basically just a blanket term for anything that they don't want you to know is in there, right? It can be literally anything. None of these, what they're called inert ingredients, are required to be listed on the label at all. So I want to talk about DEET and our health for a moment here. So I found in one article, it stated that large doses of DEET have been linked to skin blisters, seizures, memory loss, headaches, stiffness in joints, shortness of breath, and skin irritation. It also is linked to neurotoxicity that may lead to psychological and behavioral issues, especially with motor skills, learning, and memory dysfunction. Now, I also want to be clear here too, like, I like to keep it real here. Some of these symptoms, like that we're seeing, or a lot of them at least, is like if you were to use an excess amount or literally drink the DEET, right? Which is not how we're usually using bug spray. But that being said, do you want to be using something that this is even a potential side effect, right? If there's a natural solution to replace this, why wouldn't we look into those natural solutions, right? And also, not for anything, like kids are so funny, but they also get into trouble sometimes, and it's so easy to just unscrew a cap of bug spray and unfortunately drink it or spray it in your mouth or whatever. And so if used responsibly, I'm sure that, most of these symptoms would not necessarily happen to everyone, right? That's just the reality of it, but just knowing that this is possible. Another thing to take note is that DEET is absorbed extremely quickly through the skin. And this is actually not just DEET, you guys. Anything that you put on your skin gets absorbed into your bloodstream. But one study showed that 48% of the applied dose is totally absorbed within 6 hours. And I would say way sooner than that. And when mixed with sunscreen, some of the chemicals in typical sunscreen that we see, it's found to be absorbed even more quickly, which makes sense. And that is, we're usually using sunscreen and bug spray hand in hand, right? And so DEET has been shown to also cross the placenta, so the DEET was actually found in the fetus, up in newborns, and that is obviously not something that we're looking into either. Okay. So just going down my list here. So one thing I found too that was interesting is that DEET is not only in bug sprays, it's actually 500 products, over 500 products contain DEET on the market, all with different ingredients and concentrations. And then also, let's see, something that I want to bring up too is, and I know I went into some of this already, but some of the most common things that we can see if we're using DEET in overabundance is allergic reactions. So whether that's like skin irritations or anaphylactic shock, whatever it is, allergic reactions, seizures, and brain malfunction, which I want to get into in a moment here. Gulf War syndrome, which is a new term to me that I just learned today, but it causes chronic headaches, fatigue, respiratory disorders, and skin conditions. There's carcinogenic properties within DEET. It's toxic for pets. Hello, we don't want to harm our pets. And it's also toxic for our environment as well. So going into the seizures and brain malfunction, this is something that I really wanted to bring to your guys' attention because it's especially crucial that we're really careful with how much DEET, or if any DEET, right, that we're using on our kids. So according to a case analysis published in Human and Experimental Toxicology, clinical reports of children under 16 years old who suffered from brain damage indicate that symptoms can be caused by not only the ingestion of DEET and repeated and extensive application, but also brief exposure to the insect repellent itself. The most prominent symptom among the reported cases was seizures, which affected 72% of the patients and was significantly more frequent when DEET products were applied to the skin. Researchers concluded that repellents containing DEET are not safe when applied to children's skin and should be avoided by children. I don't know about you guys, but I was using bug spray all the time as a kid, right? And again, that's not to shame my parents for making me use bug spray, right? They're just doing the best that they thought they could. So going back to the idea, we're not shaming anyone here. Okay, and then carcinogenetics, okay, I cannot say that word clearly, but scientists in Germany investigated the effects of 3 widely used pesticides, including DEET, and that they said when cells from tissue biopsies were exposed to DEET for 60 minutes, the pesticide displayed potential carcinogenic effects in human nasal cells. Okay, someone help me say that word the right way. All right, also back to this idea, it's toxic for your pets. So if your pet inhales DEET, this can cause airway inflammation and difficulty breathing. General exposure to DEET may also cause GI issues or side effects, including disorientation, shaking, vomiting, tremors, and seizures. And then, of course, like I said before, it's also just not great for the environment to be having DEET sprayed constantly. That is, obviously going into the air. So just to kind of wrap that up, I know that was a lot of information. And again, if you're in the Facebook group, I will absolutely link up the links to all of this so you can read into it yourself and see a little bit more in-depth research. But just to wrap this up, obviously, DEET is toxic. It's a chemical. It's not good for us. And it's not just DEET that is in bug sprays. There's so many other chemicals that are in bug sprays that I'm sure we can break down and look into if we really want to. But I feel like DEET is like a hot topic, right? We hear that talked about all the time. But the good news is that there are holistic alternatives to bug sprays and bug repellents. And like I said, one of them in which is TerraShield, which is a formulation that doTERRA just recently reformulated. So in this formula, this new formula, there's citronella oil, lemongrass, thyme, cedarwood, geranium, and peppermint in a base of sesame seed oil. So you have a whole bottle right here that you can use for your bug spray repellent. And like I said, it is now EPA approved. So EPA is United States Environmental Protection Agency. So it's basically just making sure that you can legally state what you're saying it is, so we can legally say that this is a bug repellent. And this specifically was tested to repel mosquitoes for up to 6 hours. And so a couple things that you can do with this. You can actually make your own bug sprays with this. You can put it in like a little spray bottle of some sort and do a few drops of the TerraShield essential oil with some witch hazel or distilled water, and you can use that right as your bug spray. This bottle itself can probably make a few of those bug sprays for you. And you can also, fun fact, you can put this on like cotton balls or even any of the ingredients that are in here if you don't have your hands on this just yet. But I'm going to actually tell you a way that you can get it for free this month if you're watching this right now live. But what you could do is get like a cotton ball or some sort of cotton pad or even a tissue, whatever, and put a couple drops on there and put it in like the corners of your room or even like by your door or something, like outside door. If you know that there's like an area of your home that bugs maybe come into your home, this will actually help to repel them away from your home. You can even just do a couple of drops like along the windowsill or along the door frame or whatever. You can also obviously diffuse this. So if you are outside, you're enjoying a nice fire or something, you're barbecuing and you're like, I am not down for these bugs, you can actually diffuse this. There are portable diffusers. doTERRA specifically actually has one called the room diffuser that you can use portably. You can also just get like a bowl of hot water if you really wanted to and put a couple drops in and have it sit outside. So those are a couple like tangible things that you can do with the oil. And then also, like I said, there's actually a way to get this free this month if you have not seen that already. So right now, as we are talking live, it is July 14th. So until tomorrow, if you place a 125 PV LRP order, those of you over here in the Facebook group know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you don't, talk to your wellness advocate. But if you place a 125 PV LRP order, you are automatically going to get a bottle of TerraShield for free in your order. And then if you're not watching this live, you're watching this another time, you guys, TerraShield is $13. So a lot of times we may hear, oh, essential oils are just way too expensive. $13 to make however many spray bottles you can make out of this is actually probably way cheaper. I don't know how much bug sprays are on the market for these days, but I guarantee you it is cheaper to get this $13 bottle than it is for anything else. Okay, let's see. I'm excited for the 30 milliliter spray bottle to be updated too. All right, that's another thing too. doTERRA has a spray bottle. I actually might have, yeah, so this right here is the On Guard spray bottle, but doTERRA also has a TerraShield version. So if you don't want to make your own, they're going to be reformulating that one as well, and you'll be able to get that hopefully in August. And yeah, you guys, if you have any questions at all, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Feel free to reach out to one of us. We're more than happy to help you. And just a reminder too, I'm just going to take it home with this, is knowing that this is all a step-by-step process. The whole point in being in this group, the whole point of being in this community is to understand that we are taking our health, we're taking ownership of our health and leadership of our health day by day, one step at a time. It's not about being perfect. It's not about, pointing fingers at who's not doing what just yet because they're not as smart as we are. It is about educating and uplifting one another. And so there are so many other ways to do this. Maybe one way is shifting over into using a more natural bug repellent. Maybe it's starting to use the protein powders that doTERRA offers, or the supplements that doTERRA offers, or using these beautiful oils that I have right behind me for so many different ways, hundreds of different ways, right? So anyway, I am so excited to share this information with you. I hope you learned something new today, and we will talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.